Greetings, freaks and ghouls, slashers and psychopaths, scaredy cats and scaredy dogs. I'm your horror host with the most, Headless Glen, and welcome to the Scaling Cemetery, where we dig up the stats of horrific individuals and bury the misconceptions. For my second video, I was planning something else, but due to the fact I'm feeling extremely under the weather and having issues with my rigor mortis, maggots, and apparently the black cats have to keep getting them off the land, but any fucking way, I'm gonna try to make this video a bit shorter. But then again, I ramble a lot, so it might even be longer. What the fuck? But anyway, so this video is going to be on the old woman, also known as the old widow, or just the widow from the short creepypasta story, Stairs, by Jack. And that's the only information I can find about the creator, the moniker they used was Jack. Fun fact though, it was theorized that this story was actually going to become one of the Channel Zero stories, but it was later confirmed that it was one of the... is it like Parks and Rescue or something? Well, not Parks and Rec, but like Park and Rescue. I'm trying to remember the name of the story, but it was basically, you know, those random staircases that would appear in the forest. That was the story they decided to go with. But I thought it would have been interesting if they had gone with the story, because I'm not exactly sure what they could have done. Because they are very much more out there when they make stories like this. I personally liked Channel Zero, even though I felt like their second season, No One House, could have used a little bit more of the source material. Fuck! Going straight into strength. The old widow's strength is pretty straightforward. When she was younger, she suffocated her husband. This was probably with like a pillow or something like that, because it's not like she strangled him. It was probably like she suffocated him in his sleep, because that's what the police theorized anyway. And then her better feat is her ripping out the caretaker's throat, which is actually a pretty good feat, because dogs and wolves do this, but they use their intense bite force and like their weight to do it. And I've heard that a bodybuilder or someone with like great grip strength could probably do it as well, but this would easily be street level, peak human. Well, peak human or street level, depending on the term you use. But this would, you know, it's a pretty good feat. Especially due to her being an old woman at this point. Because the older you get, your muscles tend to atrophy. Plus, she's sitting around all day, apparently, because she's pretending to be immobile. So, just imagine what she was like in her prime. Though then again, in her more prime state, all she did was suffocate her husband and didn't do anything crazy. So, she could be weaker, assuming she got stronger over time, but it's not like she's working out or training or anything. Now I just think of her training like Goku or something, and now I might laugh. But, yeah, she might have been stronger in her prime. I'm not completely sure, but if you want to argue it, you could potentially do so. Going straight into speed / stealth, because... Okay, so this feat, it's one or the other, in my opinion, and it's not really crazy. Actually, it could be both, if you argue that it's normal human speed, and then she just hid somewhere. She's hiding from a trained officer, by the way, so that could add a little bit to it, but I'm not 100% positive. It's just... the feat is not amazing. It'd probably be normal human to above average if you want to be really, really nice, which I wouldn't in this situation. It's not like an eyeless Jack. Well,
the feat itself is somewhat comparable to Eyeless Jack's in theory, because they're both a stealth speed feat. But hers is like the ending, like, twist, whereas Jack's was... whereas Jack's was simply just, you know, it was a minute story thing, so you could comprehend what he was actually doing. But she was able to get away from the strange officer, assumedly. In conclusion, oh yeah, I forgot, durability. Her durability obviously scales to her strength, most likely. Because if she, you know, Newton's third law of motion, if she wasn't able to withstand the force she was exerting, she would literally shatter her bones. Which is kind of crazy, because she is apparently light enough to be carried like an infant. So, are her bones just like shock absorbent or some shit like that? Like birds or something. I don't know. Fuck! But yeah, she probably has some decently strong bones. Or just like muscle. Well, actually, probably not muscle, because if she was all muscle, then her caretaker would have to be pretty fucking strong just to pick her up. But that probably isn't the case. Also, the caretaker, I'm not sure if it was a woman or if any pronouns were given. I'm assuming it was a woman, because that's what I remember the pronouns being. But I could be 100% wrong. I'll see in post. So, yeah, I'm just gonna assume it's a woman. So she's able to, you know, in conclusion, she's street level, or peak human if you want to use that terminology, and she's normal human with a bit of stealth. I know I shit on Eyeless Jack in the last video, but the old woman, or the old widow, is literally just a worse Eyeless Jack. And, well, yeah, basically. So, Eyeless Jack would probably beat her. Eyeless Jack has a bit better speed if you want to be, you know, nice. Well, actually, in my opinion, he does have better speed. He also has better stealth, arguably. He has enhanced senses, which would probably cancel out the old woman's stealth if she ever tried to use it. Assuming his sight without eyes is, like, assuming it's like a sight type thing, he could probably see in the dark. Or if you want to be even more of a stompish type situation, you could argue that it's like smell or hearing. And then this bitch wouldn't be able to hide from him. Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck! Fuck! God. Oh my. But anyway, Eyeless Jack would probably beat her. She's not that strong. But as for fights that I would actually use her in, I would probably make her fight the guy from the Telltale Heart. I personally nicknamed him the Caretaker, because that's what he's called in the story. Well, he's referred to, that's his job. So I nicknamed him that. I also made a nice profile for him on Versus Battle Wiki that I might link. Probably not. I know there's a lot of problems with Versus Battle Wiki. I'm not a part of it anymore. But I did make a lot of horror profiles and whatnot on the wiki. So, I thought I did a good job on that. But the reason I choose the Caretaker is literally because they're reverse stories. The Caretaker killed the person he was taking care of, whereas the old widow killed the person who was taking care of her. Plus, I don't know, I just find it thematic and I like it. Or she could fight the old people from The Visit. I've never watched that movie, but it could be interesting. I don't remember what the people from The Visit did. I know they killed the other old people there, but it could work maybe. I don't know, I've never watched it, I'm just assuming. next video, though. The next video, I'll be covering the Oregon Harvesters. They were originally going to be episode 2, but I wanted to kind of get into them a little bit more. And plus, I'm going to make them fight Eyeless Jack at some point, because I find that interesting, and a friend of mine has given me a lot of good ideas. But with all that said, stay frosty, and thanks for listening.